Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. Prior to our recent fall 2021 trip down to Walt Disney World, I did take the time to put in some room requests for our Disney Vacation Club stays. This is totally optional, but I had the time, so I figured why not give it a try. In this video, I'll go ahead and let you know how that experiment worked out, what rooms I requested, and what rooms we were assigned. Plus, we'll do a little bit of speculation as to why that may be. Stay tuned. Previously on the channel, we have gone over room requests somewhat extensively. If you haven't seen it already, you may want to check out that video first. I'll leave a link in the description below, and there will be a card in the corner that you can click now. As a very brief overview though, you can submit a room request for free, or you can pay an outside service to do that work for you. Primarily, you can submit these by calling the resort you'll be staying at, faxing them, or apparently you can also chat them on the app, which is a neat tidbit I learned from the comments in the last video. Of course, you don't have to do this in advance via phone, fax, or chat. You can also just do it in person when you arrive. Head to the front desk in the lobby and speak with a cast member about your specific room request and see what can be accommodated. Overall, you will find pretty variable advice on both ends of the spectrum about what is the best way to do a room request in terms of should you request a specific room, like a room number, I would like to stay here, or should you let cast members know specific attributes of a room you would like, as in close to the pool, near the lobby, stuff like that. But regardless of how you go about putting a room request in, please remember that room requests are not guaranteed by any means, and always be kind to cast members. For my trip specifically, I did pay for a touring plan subscription, and part of that bundle is that they will put a room request in for you via fax, so I did do this the paid method. We'll go into details for each room request, but in general, whenever I'm staying at any hotel, even outside of Disney, I prefer to be on a high floor, and then I prefer to be away from noisy areas like elevators and the pool. Let's get into it then. All of our Disney Vacation Club stays were in studios, and our first one was at Beach Club Villas. For this, we requested room 431. Based on information I found from the free Touring Plans Room Finder tool, it seemed like this room had a large balcony. Balconies at Beach Club Villas are super variable. We went into this a little bit more in that prior video about submitting room requests. Room 431 is also on one of the higher floors. It's not the absolute highest, but it's higher, and it's further away from the parking lot. It also faces away from the pool. When I had Touring Plans fax this room request over for me, we did leave that exact room number, 431. But I also left some narrative notes about what it was about this room that appealed to me. So these are things like the larger balcony, it's away from the pool, it's away from the parking lot. Upon check-in, we were assigned room 275. So if we take a look at the map, you can see it's here, more on the north part of the Villas building, rather than comparing to 431, a fairly different location within the building itself. Room 275 is on the second floor, whereas I had requested the fourth floor and a higher floor in general. Also, 275 is actually very close to the parking lot. This room had what I would consider a normal sized balcony. It definitely wasn't an oversized balcony. It didn't feel tiny, but it wasn't anything special. But in good news, 275 did at least face away from the pool, so I really didn't have to deal with any of that noise. After our one night stay at Beach Club Villas, we moved on to 3 nights in a standard view studio over at the BoardWalk Villas. At BoardWalk, through Touring Plans, I requested room 5085. BoardWalk Villas is sort of split up into 2 buildings, and room 5085 is in the more southern building of the 2. For this room request, I did not leave any additional notes or narrative for the cast members to look at in terms of why I wanted this room. In general though, I liked that it was a higher floor, it faced away from the pool, and it seemed like a good location within the building itself. When Touring Plans faxes over room requests, it basically auto-creates some text to send over. You can absolutely edit that auto-generated text to add notes, like I said. In this case, I didn't edit it hardly much at all. Touring Plans had suggested a string of room numbers, and I ended up removing a few of those because not all of them were studios, and I didn't want to come off honestly looking a little bit stupid requesting a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom room when I had booked a studio. So here's the exact text that was sent over. All of this was auto-generated from Touring Plans, and I just deleted a little bit. They were all additional room numbers, as I said. So the cast member assigning my room in this case didn't have that extra narrative or more notes for me to know why I wanted this room. All they really got was like southeast facing room, 5th floor. When we checked into our BoardWalk Villas studio, we were assigned room 1044. This room is actually in the other building, that more north building of BoardWalk Villas. It was on the first floor and faces the pool. That being said, we did book and pay for a standard view studio. I'm not sure if this was considered standard view or not. Touring Plans has it coded as garden or pool view because, like I said, you're facing the pool. Granted, it was on the first floor, so you couldn't really see much. It wasn't a spectacular view, so I don't know if Disney considers this a standard view or a lake view. It's possible we got an upgrade and it was just never mentioned to us. Following our stays at Beach Club and BoardWalk, we then moved over to Bay Lake Tower. This was split up between all 3 of their different views. We started with 4 nights in a standard view studio at Bay Lake Tower and requested room 7514. For additional notes that the cast member could see, I basically just noted that I would like to be on as high a floor as possible. Now, standard view studios don't go up very high in the tower because it is a standard view. If you were up higher, it would probably be like a lake view or a theme park view. But, you know, 5th floor is better than 1st floor. This room I had requested, 7514, seems like it may have partial theme park views, definitely of Space Mountain and probably of the castle if you lean a little bit. Obviously, the higher up in the tower you are, the better chances you have of getting that partial theme park view. So that was my primary motivator in asking for this specific room. Upon checking in, we were assigned room 7232. This is on the 2nd floor and is on the south side of the tower rather than the north side, so your view is primarily of the Contemporary. We also did one night each in a Lakeview and Theme Park View studios. For the Lakeview room, we requested room 8408. In the additional notes, I basically just said I'd like to be on as high of a floor as possible and north facing. 8408 is on the 14th floor and the balcony faces north, plus you're on the outside ring of Bay Lake Tower. So again, if you lean over, I'm pretty dang certain you can see Space Mountain, if not also the castle. We were ultimately assigned room 8537. This room is on the 15th floor and the balcony does face north indeed. However, it's on the inside part of Bay Lake Tower, so the north-facing balcony looks into the pool complex rather than outside of the resort itself. I was not specific in the notes I left about wanting an even numbered room, and those would be the ones on the outside of Bay Lake Tower that would face outward. So ultimately, they did give me a high floor and a north-facing room. Then finally, for our theme park view studio over at Bay Lake Tower, we requested room 8218, and the only thing I put in the notes really was that I wanted to be on as high a floor as possible. All of the theme park view rooms at Bay Lake Tower are west facing, and I'm sure people have specific preferences, but your view out of your balcony is going to be great. Whether you're slightly more to the north, slightly more to the south, you're gonna be in good shape. It's not really a big deal if you ask me. You can see here on floor 12, the studio I requested is the one that's slightly more north rather than the one that's slightly more south, but I really wasn't fussed about this ultimately. We ended up being assigned room 7718. This is on the 7th floor of Bay Lake Tower. It does face the exact same cardinal direction as the room I requested. They both end in 1-8. They're just stacked on top of each other. So rather than being up higher, we just got the same room on the 7th floor. Now let's look at all of the room requests together. For each, I did specify an exact room number. And then for some, but not for all, I added additional notes about what it was about that room that I really wanted. For Beach Club Villas, we got a room that didn't face the pool, which was great, but the rest was a little bit more negative for me in terms of being on a low floor and being close to the parking lot. The BoardWalk Villas standard view room we got was maybe an upgrade because we could see the pool. We were facing the pool. So I feel like I should be grateful for that probably, but I kind of hate facing the pool. There's no way they could have known that though, because I didn't add that into my notes. Our standard view Bay Lake Tower room was good. I mean, it's great to stay at Bay Lake Tower, don't get me wrong, but there was nothing special about that. It was on the 2nd floor. I'd asked for the 5th floor or the highest floor possible. I don't know that 2nd floor is the highest floor possible, but maybe it was. I don't know what availability was, but I definitely didn't check in and feel like super excited. The Lakeview room they gave us though was actually on the 15th floor out of 16, so super high, and I did ask for a north-facing room, and they did give me a north-facing balcony. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but they couldn't have known what I was going after, so overall that one's a win, I think. And finally, for that theme park view studio, in my opinion, floor 7's a little bit low, so that kind of ended up more in the negative category for me. Next, looking at the room number we requested versus what we were assigned, in no case were we given the actual room we were assigned. Anecdotally, I see a lot of people are successful with this, where they request a certain room and are given that room, and I just didn't have that luck. That being said, as we did discuss with that theme park view room, they did at least give me the ending 2 numbers the same, so the relative same location in the building, just a different floor than I wanted. But overall, in terms of the room requests, I would say the only one where I really felt like I got what I requested was that Lakeview studio. So a 1 out of 5 hit rate for me. As I said previously, room requests are never guaranteed, so I was totally happy with everything I was given, even though I didn't have a great success rate. But I do have one suspicion as to why I maybe only succeeded 1 out of 5 times. For all these days, I used the mobile check-in on the My Disney Experience app, and each time I said I was arriving pretty early, around 8 a.m. That was the truth. We were packing up from one hotel, bringing our stuff over to the next, and dropping it off. And in each case, we were going to a park or something right after. I didn't expect my room to be ready at 8 a.m. by any means, but like, I was there, my stuff was there, we were ready. Rooms aren't guaranteed until much later in the afternoon, but of course, as rooms get cleaned and they turn them over, they do assign them as they can. For our room assignments, I do have exact times for a few of them. I took screenshots, the others are approximate times. In checking in on the app and saying I'd be there very early, around 8 a.m., the latest I was assigned a room was around 2:30 p.m. and the earliest we were assigned rooms was around 11:30 a.m. You'll note, for example, that the BoardWalk Villas, which was arguably my least favorite room out of all of these because it was on the first floor and it faced the pool, was one of the rooms that was assigned earlier. I have no evidence for this is all complete conjecture, but I suspect that because we said we'd be there very early, cast members assigning rooms and checking guests in were like, hey, these people are here, this room's ready, let's just give them this room. So in that case, they may have been prioritizing the fact that I said I was already here over the room requests I had put in. If that is the case, it may behoove you to check in a little bit later, or at least say you're checking in later. Perhaps if cast members don't feel rushed to get you placed into a room, you may have better luck getting the room you requested. But ultimately, we really don't have any hard data on room request results or even like procedures for how cast members go through these things. The best we can do is collect anecdotes from everyone in the community. So I would absolutely love to hear in the comments down below anything you have to say about room requests, your results, tips, tricks, advice, all of it. And if you want to chat about this outside of YouTube, you can find me over on Instagram and Twitter at PixieDustPhD. Even though we didn't have the best luck with our room requests, at the end of the day, they were all fantastic stays. The insides of the rooms are the same. It's really more about where you are in the building, closer to what amenities you want to be towards, facing the pool or not, that kind of thing. It's all just little preferences to make your stays just a tiny bit more magical, but you're still gonna have a great time no matter what. We definitely did. And please remember to be kind to all of the cast members, even if you get a room that is like the opposite of what you requested. It's simply impossible for cast members to accommodate every single guest room request, so sometimes you'll get lucky and sometimes you won't. That's just how it goes. I hope the rest of your day is super magical, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.